Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Keto Mom page. My name is Stephanie, and we are going to talk about, I labeled this, oh, be careful, little mouth, what you say. Have you ever heard that song? All right, but for real, so we were at church last night, Wednesday night church with our church, and our pastors were talking about the power of our words. And I've talked about that, I talk about that, I feel like I talk about it a lot. But I wrote some things down and I was like, I'm going to talk about that today because it really goes along with our Dream It, Pin It, Live It book that we're going to start very soon, coming up on Monday. But there's just some things that, it's so interesting, isn't it? I don't know. Okay, let me back up a little bit. Your words are powerful. I was sitting in our message last night and I was like, man, this is so good. I want everybody to hear it. So I wrote down, which I already know, but I wrote down the notes because I wanted to share it with you. So as you're tuning in, good morning. I'd love for you to say good morning. I hope your day is going well. It's Thursday. We could say thankful Thursday. What are you thankful for? I am thankful for books. I'm thankful for wise people. I'm thankful for a lot. So let's dive in. We're going to start this book. If you do not know, we're going to start this on the 14th. It's a Monday coming up. We're going to go through it together. I'm going to do lives. We're going to talk about what it means to dream and have a vision board and what that looks like to dream it, write it down, to actually write things down, put them in front of you, and then to take action on that. This book actually helps you create smart goals, how to have a vision, the steps to take to move forward on that vision, not just hoping and not just wishing, but like we're going to actually learn how to create, what that looks like. But before we do that, I need you to understand something. I talked about EQ the other day, right? Having emotional intelligence. I talked about awareness. We talk about like the power of your mind. And I really need you to understand this before we dive into your dreams, your vision board. And it's the power of your words. So last night we talked about this at our Wednesday night church. And it's something I talk a lot about with our kids, is if my kids say something, I will very quickly, if it is trash, if it is not going to serve them, if it is not like something uplifting, if it's negative, if it's something that's like in general, I will say, is that what you're really believing for? I said it last night. We were in conversation after our church service was done. I don't like to call it church service. It was like a Wednesday night small group. After that's done, we always sit around and talk, and somebody had said something, and I was like, is that what you're really believing for? I say it to our kids all the time. My husband and I say it to each other. If we hear something that's negative, not uplifting, like clearly not something that we want, we will say, hold on a second, you just said this. Is that what you really want? And it'll make us think for a second and we'll go, oh no, nope, I actually don't want that. Nope. If somebody says something to me, so I don't know how long you've been on this page, but I've told this story years ago. So we have 4 daughters, currently 2 teenagers. They're 15, 13, 11, and 9. So years ago when my girls were babies, right? And even up until now, I still get the same conversation, but not as much. But when I would go to the store, for some reason, having 4 girls, it made people, I feel like it made people think I had like 12, right? They would look at me like with this, maybe because there was 4 girls, and I'm not kidding. There wasn't a time I wouldn't go to the store when the girls were little, and people would say things to me, without a doubt, at least one time in the store, if not more. They would go, oh my goodness, all girls, no boys? And I'd be like, yeah, all girls. It's so amazing. Oh my goodness, you just wait until, they would say, teenagers, or they would say things. And I would jokingly tell people, it's amazing. Like, it is truly amazing. And I would tell them, you know what? It's going to be different. Nope, it's going to be fine. I reject that. And I remember one sweet lady. I mean, she wasn't so sweet, but she's sweet. I remember in Hy-Vee, in the organic section, at the grocery store. The girls were young. I think I had one I was carrying. I had 3 in the cart. And I remember her saying that to me. And she caught me on a day where I was like, listen, lady, I know that you're 85 and probably super wise. She said that to me, and I said, I reject that. I reject anything that you have to say over my daughters, and it's going to be incredible. And I'm not going to let you tell me how my teenagers are going to be. And I walked away. And I was like, You don't have to let other people tell you how your life is going to be, why you shouldn't go after goals, or the negative words towards something you're going after. I love it. See, Cindy has 4 boys. She probably gets completely different things than I do. When I meet a mom with 4 boys, I'm like, I bet your house is amazing. I bet your house is so fun, and I bet it's so wild, and I bet it's like, I just picture boys wrestling, and like, I'm like, our houses are completely different, right? So, but I also need you to know something. It's not even the words that other people speak over you, right? Because I will easily reject anything that somebody says over me that I do not want in my life. I will outwardly tell it to you. I'll be like, I reject that. I'll say, you know what? I have a lot of things that I could say about parenting. A lot. And I want you to really focus on the words that you're speaking over yourself, over your spouse, over like your own words. I can't do this. I'll never be that size. Like, if you're going to create a vision board, if you want to have, if you've got dreams, if you're going to do this with us, you've got to stop talking trash. You've got to stop letting any word come out of your mouth that is going to take away from your dreams and your visions and the goals that you want to achieve. They've got to be done. You can ask somebody to hold you accountable. You can be aware of what you're speaking. Like, I know so it's so funny because as soon as you have the awareness of things like just the word awareness in itself, right? Or if you understand that your words have the power of life and death, right? I've said this before. It is biblical. If that is not the course of what you have a filter on, like if the Bible is not your filter, then it's scientifically even proven that when you speak life over a plant and then you speak death over a plant, the plant will die and the other plant will live. They've done tons of research on that. We've done the rice jar where we speak life over the rice jar and we speak death over another one, like just negative words. And the one that you speak negative to grows the most mold. We've done that before. I would say my filter between truth and trash and right and wrong and things I should follow and things I shouldn't come from the Bible. And the Bible says your words have the power of life and death. Life and death. You speak truth or trash. And whether you like it or not, the things that come out of your mouth are from your heart. And whether you like it or not, the things that come out of your mouth, you've put forth something in motion that you will not take back. Right? So that's why I talk about EQ. It's super powerful to understand I don't have to react. I can respond later. I can be adaptable. AQ. I can have the awareness of where I'm at versus what people are speaking over me. I don't have to accept that, but I also don't have to fight, right? I can dream. That's my right. I can dream and I can have visions and I can go after things that I want in my life, even if the people around me don't believe in me or don't think that I can do it because I know I can. Because I have a purpose inside of me that I'm going to do no matter what. So we're going to do this together. It's going to be amazing. We're going to do lives. We're going to do the work. I would encourage you to get the book. If you don't have the book, guess what? You can follow along. I'll tell you what actions to take and you can just take the action, right? Because it's not enough just to read the book. It's not enough just to know this. If you've been on here for any point in time, you've heard me talk about the power of your mindset. You've heard me talk about the word awareness. You've heard me talk about EQ and AQ and now your words. Once you know something, you are held to a higher level of expectation by yourself. I tell our girls, like, once you know something, you can't unknow it, right? And once you know something, there is a level of like accountability of, you know this. You're just either choosing to not listen to make the wrong choice, because here's the deal. I've talked about this yesterday and even last night at church. They said the same thing that I talked about yesterday. When you were 80 years old and you get to that point, what do you want your life to look like? What do you want to be talking about? And then you reverse engineer it. When you're 80 years old, you will ask yourself, you'll probably say, I wish I wouldn't have spent so much time on this. I wish I would have spent more time on this, right? You guys, it's okay that if it doesn't get to your house in time, like I'm going to do lives, all the lives are saved. I will track them, so all you can do is click on them. We're going to go through it slow. So it's going to be, and I will, it'll be fine. We're not going to go through this fast because it's going to get us to the end of the year. So when you're 80, you don't want to be sitting in your chair. I'm not going to be sitting. I'm going to be walking around the block. But I'm just saying, you will find yourself probably saying things like, I wish I wouldn't have spent so much time doing this. I wish I would have spent more time doing this. And if you can figure out what you want to be talking about, where you want to be, then you reverse engineer it and you start on those things today. Right? So, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to say. I wrote down some different notes. So last night we talked about, if one of the phrases that you might find yourself saying is, how did I get here? How did I get here? How did I get, you might say that about your weight. How did I get here? Maybe your finances, maybe over your relationships. This isn't just about your fat loss. We can have a vision for where you want your health to be, but we're going to talk about other things as well. How did I get here? And you got there one step at a time in the wrong direction. So we're going to switch that. We're going to have an awareness of, nope, I'm moving in the wrong direction. And it's, what's interesting? I'm actually going to share this on my stories today. Keith Kraft, he came and spoke at our church. He's a pastor in Texas. Actually, I'm reading his wife's book right now. He had a poem that he wrote, and it's called Choose Your Hard. So this is her book I'm doing. And he said, choose your hard. It's hard being overweight. It's hard eating healthy. It's hard not going to the gym. It's hard going to the gym. Choose your hard, right? He says it's hard being married and it's hard being divorced. Choose your hard. It's hard being financially responsible and it's hard being in debt. He says it way better because it is. When somebody says the word easy, I don't like the word trigger, but things aren't easy, but you can make them simple, right? And either way you go, you're going to have to put in the work. So you're going to have to put in the work to do this. You're going to get a journal. You're going to get a notebook. You're going to eventually get a board. We're going to print out pictures. We're going to do the work. And then we're going to create the actions and do the work. And some of the work is having an awareness. Some of the work is being able to control your emotions at other people. Some of the work is getting up and reading or watching your words. So anyways, I feel like I'm rambling. I love this stuff. I love it because I believe it. I've seen it in our life. You want to know something? We speak over our girls every night. This is something as a parent that if you have children still in the home, like we speak life over our kids every night before they go to bed. The same thing. And you want to know what it started with? Have you guys ever seen the movie The Help? An incredible movie. And The Help, she spoke over the daughter she was watching and she says, you are kind, you are smart, you are important. I think that's what she said. So over the years, as our girls have grown from babies into teenagers, every night, no matter what, they wait for us to say it. And this is a part of the book, is you're going to start speaking affirmations over yourself or your kids. And we say this over our kids every day. We say, you are kind, you are smart, you are important. You are a child of God. You are a world changer. Oh my goodness, you guys, I say it every day. You're kind, you're smart, you're important, you're a child of God, you're a world changer, you're blessed and highly favored, growing in wisdom and stature. You are anointed and appointed, living a long, strong, healthy, prosperous life. That's what we speak over our kids every night. And they wait for it. And if I don't say it, they will say, Mom, you are kind. Oh, you are kind, you are smart, you are important, you're a child of God, you're a world changer. You're blessed and highly favored, growing in wisdom and stature. You are anointed and appointed, living a long, strong, healthy, prosperous life. every night. I will always say that to my children because your words are powerful, right? Even if you just start simply saying one thing over you or your spouse or your children, use kind, use smart. That was from the movie. That's where it started. Is I heard her say that and I was like, we need to speak over our children. And I'm going to tell you right now, especially parents with teenagers, your children need you in the teenage years more than they need you when they were babies. I mean, the conversations and the walking through life and walking them through relationships, and it is a full-time job. It is a full-time job to have teenagers and to help them walk through this world of wild. All I can say is wild, and help them. You need to help them. Just because they seem self-sufficient and they can make their own food and they can bathe themselves and they can do their homework and they seem like they've got it figured out, they don't. And their mind is being bombarded, just like yours is, by social media, by kids at school, by coaches and other parents. I mean, like, the amount of negativity that they hear and see on a daily basis is nothing like we've even experienced when we were in teenagers because we didn't have the internet, right? So if you have teenagers, here's my biggest encouragement is you need to talk to them. Take them on dates. Like, we sit around at night and I'm like, what do we need to talk about? And be forgiving. And if you're in the wrong, apologize. Like, I got into a little fight with our 15-year-old daughter, and last night we were bickering and I walked upstairs and I'm like, I'm sorry. Here's why I've been mad today. Here's why I was grumpy. There's no excuse. I didn't mean to say this. She was in the wrong too. So we apologized. Let your kids see that you can apologize, right? You're not perfect. And just because you don't like how they act, they just need to be coached. Just like I tell people, take your kids on the journey with you of your health and fitness, because you don't want your kids to get to where you are today as an adult and have to start where you're starting. You should want to set your kids up for success. What you're learning, you need to be teaching them. Every time I learn something new, we go to a lot of different events for our business. And when I go and I come home, I go through my notes and I've taught my kids EQ. I've taught them AQ. Like, our word this year as a family was awareness, and my girls use it all the time. When we're out in public, they'll be like, these people are unaware. Like, they know it. They see it because there's a lot of selfishness in the world, right? And so they see it. They have the awareness of it. I teach them the power of their words. If they say something that is not in agreement with our family or themselves or what I see in them, I'm like, I call it. That is trash. Are you believing for that? No. Do you want to rephrase that? Yeah. I'm like, I reject that over your life. That will not be. Let's say something positive. So you can do that with your spouse. You could do that with coworkers. There are people around you that need somebody that believes in them, that have some type of hope, that is a positive person. And you might get made fun of for a little bit of being that positive person, but guess what? So what? Because when they need something, or they're in despair, or they have one of those days, they're going to look to you, even if you don't know it, for something positive to come out of your mouth. Speak life over people. Encourage them. Give them a smile. Tell them how great they are. Like, point out people's, their gifts. Point it out. Tell them what they're great at. And start telling yourself the same thing. So, part of that book is going to be affirmations. You might think it's weird. It's not weird. And if you actually start doing it, you might actually see, and well, you will start seeing the seeds that you plant, which are your words, coming to pass in a positive light instead of having all the negative words that you might be speaking over yourself. All right, here's the last thing I'm going to leave you with. What you set your heart on will determine how you will spend your life. What you set your heart on will determine how you spend your life. So I'm super excited to go through the book. It's not a big deal if it's a couple days late. It'll be fine. We're going to go through the book slow, and it's going to be taking the action, reading it and doing what it says. So I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you later.